It's July 10th, 2017, and it's time to review 5 of the most outrageous, infuriating, or just plain baffling things that have happened lately. It's your Facepalm 5. Let's count them down. Number 1, hashtag CNN blackmail. Donald Trump is pissed at CNN for making him look bad by reporting on the things that he says and does. So Trump retaliated by tweeting a video of himself pummeling WWE promoter Vince McMahon from WrestleMania 23 with McMahon's head replaced with the CNN logo. So CNN found the person who made the video. The CNN story did not disclose the identity of the video's creator, who had also made anti-Semitic posts to Reddit under the username HanAssholeSolo, noting that the person had apologized and said he would not be posting such inflammatory content in the future, but adding that CNN was reserving the right to publish the person's name in the future should this apparently reformed shitlord suffer a relapse. Trump supporters accused CNN of blackmailing HanAssholeSolo to ensure his silence. Before long, CNN reporters and other journalists who had covered this story were receiving death threats and other forms of harassment. Donald Trump Jr. circulated a rumor that HanAssholeSolo was only 15 years old, which CNN emphatically denies, stating unequivocally that the person they found is an adult. Some have accused CNN of doxing HanAssholeSolo, which strikes me as a strange charge, since the story made a point of not disclosing his true identity. However you feel about the way CNN handled this story, and to be fair, not everyone who has expressed concerns is a Trump supporter, one thing should be obvious to everyone. We have spent way more time this past week or so arguing over whether or not the anonymous racist who made that video was being fairly treated by CNN than we have discussing the fact that the President of the United States is completely comfortable retweeting stuff that was made by an anonymous racist, which, granted, isn't news at this point, but is still pretty important, wouldn't you think? Number 2, Christie hits the beach. Last week, the government of the state of New Jersey shut down after the legislature wasn't able to pass a new budget before the end of the fiscal year. As a result, state parks were shut down, and visitors hoping to enjoy the state parks over the 4th of July weekend were turned away by police. Well, not all visitors. Aerial photographs caught Governor Christie relaxing with his family and friends on the otherwise empty beach at Island Beach State Park. In an interview the day after these photos were taken, Christie said of the people who were complaining, "I'm sorry they're not the governor." Well, Chris, a lot of them are sorry that you are the governor, so I guess we'll call it even. Number 3, Missouri Republicans block St. Louis minimum wage hike. 2 years ago, the city of St. Louis, Missouri passed a measure to raise the minimum wage within the city limits to $10 an hour this year and $11 an hour next year. Now, thanks to Republicans in the Missouri state legislature, that won't be allowed to happen. A minimum wage preemption law goes into effect on August 28th that will prohibit Missouri cities and counties from raising their local minimum wage to a level higher than that of the state minimum wage, which is currently $7.70 an hour. The reasoning behind this is that a higher minimum wage will supposedly kill jobs and damage the economy, which was an argument deployed heavily by the opposition when the federal minimum wage was first created, and which is heard every time a minimum wage increase is proposed anywhere in the country. There's very little evidence to suggest a connection between raising the minimum wage and a loss in jobs, but that doesn't really matter. What matters is that employers in St. Louis will no longer be forced to pay their employees a living wage. And isn't undercompensating people for their labor the American dream? Number 4, Ohio City Councilman proposes saving money by letting people die of overdoses. The city of Middletown, Ohio has seen a significant increase in its number of drug overdoses, with the number for this year so far already surpassing the total number for 2016. This year, the city of Middletown, population 48,000, will spend an estimated $90,000 on naloxone, also known as Narcan, a drug used in the emergency treatment of overdoses. That's a lot of money for a city the size of Middletown, but one city councilman has a proposal to take some pressure off the budget. Just let people die. Councilman Dan Picard has suggested the city adopt a 3 strikes policy for treating overdoses, where if a person is treated by emergency responders for an overdose twice, they must complete community service to reimburse the city for the costs of their treatments before they can be treated again. If they overdose a 3rd time without completing the community service, an ambulance would not be dispatched to help them. Councilman Picard admits he's not sure if this proposal of his is even legal, but obviously that's not the only problem with it. And the chief of the fire department for the city of Middletown tells NPR that 85% of their overdose calls are in response to people who are ODing for the first time. So Councilman Picard's proposal is not only inhumane and possibly illegal, it also fails to address the problem to which it purports to respond. Where have I seen that sort of thing before? And on a completely unrelated note, surely, it's now time for the segment devoted to some of the other things Donald Trump has done to disgrace the presidency and embarrass and/or endanger the United States and the rest of the world lately. It's number 5, the further misadventures of Lord Dampnut. Please keep in mind, as always, the following is not a complete list. He attacked MSNBC hosts Joe Scarborough and Mika Brzezinski, calling them crazy and psycho, and belittling Brzezinski for allegedly once visiting his Mar-a-Lago resort while, quote, bleeding from a facelift. He implied that states which refused to turn over information to the panel he appointed to investigate the non-existent problem of voter fraud had something to hide. To date, only 1 state has complied with that request, by the way. He continued his paranoid rants against the fake news media, attacking not only CNN, as previously mentioned, but also the Washington Post and NBC. In the midst of all this, he declared that his use of social media was modern-day presidential. He demanded that if Republicans are unable to pass a plan to replace the Affordable Care Act, they should repeal it and worry about replacing it later, seemingly abandoning one of his central campaign promises. And in Warsaw, Poland, he delivered the latest in an ever-increasing series of dire apocalyptic speeches, implicitly drawing an us versus them line between Western nations and the Muslim world, declaring that the fundamental question of our time was, quote, whether the West has the will to survive. And he became the first president since the fall of communism in 1989 to visit the city of Warsaw without visiting the former site of the Warsaw Ghetto. Gee, I wonder why he didn't make that a priority. All hail Lord Dampnut. That's 5. Speak out, act out, resist, and look after each other. Hey folks, thanks for watching. Hope you found this one worthwhile. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. And also please consider helping me to make more videos like this one by supporting this channel through Patreon. You can go to patreon.com/Steve Shives to become a patron for as little as $1 a month. And believe you me, those $1 per month pledges really add up and really help me out. But if you can afford to give more than $1 a month, for instance, if you can afford to pledge $5 a month or more, one of the perks that you get as a little reward and a little extra thank you is that I give you a shout out at the end of the Facepalm 5, just like my newest $5 plus patron, Kyle Murphy. Thank you so much, Kyle. Thanks to all of you who are patrons at whatever level you are currently supporting the channel. Thanks to all of you for watching, and I'll see you next time.